Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you your daily NVIDIA report for Monday, August 18th, 2025. Let's take a look at the charts. Just want to remind you that it was 2 weeks ago, actually a week ago last Friday, but we're in our second week of having settled above and held the 179.30 2.5-year rising channel top. And we did close above it a couple of weeks ago by the full required 1% margin, indicating 2 to 3 months upward continuation to 219.64. And so 179.30 is your base. You can continue. If you want to trade 181.10, I almost want to relax this level now because we broke below it pretty clearly on Friday, tested the 179.30 formation. We even slipped below 179.30, that formation, by a hair, but we came back and closed comfortably above it. And so here we are. We're still in a long-term buy signal. I do need to mention that the triple Q and the SPY, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 have yet to violate, have yet to settle above, that is, their 2.5-year channel tops. Last week, both tested their 2.5-year channel tops and both pulled away ever so slightly into Friday, keeping the market contained to the upside. If the triple Q and SPY can close above their respective formations, even if it's just the triple Q, because NVIDIA is such a significant part of that index, then we do see the sort of parallel correlation wherein you've got more confidence that NVIDIA will reach that 219.64 over the next 2 to 3 months, because the triple Q, and that is to say the NASDAQ 100, will have sort of confirmed it by also closing above their respective 2.5-year channel tops. And so until then, we have this sort of discrepancy. You're not going to see NVIDIA pull away to 219.64 over the next few months without the NASDAQ 100 or triple Q following suit on their long-term buy signal. And, inversely, if the triple Q and the SPY or the triple Q and NASDAQ 100 fall away from their 2.5-year channel top, which is the path of least resistance for those indexes, NVIDIA then is sort of set up for a failure to follow through. If we close this week back below 179.30, and I'm talking Friday, if we close Friday back below 179.30, we actually have the rejection of a long-term buy signal, which is, in essence, a valid sell signal unto itself. So that is the big picture. Given the fact that we're above 179.30, let's take a look at the upside play for the day and into later week. I'm scouting right now for this 182.59. This is just a short-term 5-day descending channel top. I have it as a soft intraday pivot point today because we are clearly above long-term support. The market's path of least resistance as far as NVIDIA is concerned is upward. But 182.59 has something to say about whether we'll reach 186.39 over the next day, 2 or 3. If we close today above 182.59, expect Tuesday, Wednesday testing of 186.39. And there is the possibility we could push or open today above 182.59. And if we do, that is a clear signal for 186.39 on an intraday basis, where we could top out on a daily basis. I see nothing more really here than just session containment. And in fact, I think if we close above 182.59, we have now what is set up for bullish continuation into later week. We can top out Tuesday or Wednesday at 186.39. But as we continue into later week, I wouldn't be surprised to see not 192.57, but kind of on our way up to 192.57. Holding above 179.15 on the daily chart, 179.30 on the weekly chart does maintain 192.27 as a 2 to 3 week objective now, and that becomes a little clearer today if we close above 182.59. And in fact, this is kind of what the weekly chart, or I'm sorry, the longer term daily chart looks like. 192.27 remains a 2 to 3 week objective, able to contain weekly buying pressures. When tested, we could fall away from here. If sooner than later, like over the next couple of weeks, we close above 192.27, we enter another 2 to 3 week buy signal. This could be within a week or two on an accelerated move up to 201.94. And 201.94 is a 4 or 5 month rising channel top that can contain monthly buying pressures. But as you see, by early September, it's already correlating or converging with 219.64. So this is not really realistic unless we get up and over 192.27 sooner than later. Until then, it is a more methodical upside trade wherein over the next 2 to 3 months, 219.64 remains in play.
If you're finding value in this analysis, it's only a glimpse of what we offer. Your real trading edge starts at wickedstocks.com. Each week, premium members receive 2 high-probability stock picks. Each one comes with a complete trade plan, including exact entry, profit target, stop loss, and regular updates so you can manage the trade with confidence. You'll also get daily video analysis in the top traded markets, the SPY, the Triple Q, and NVIDIA, highlighting the key price levels, trends, and trade setups we're focused on. Whether you're day trading or swing trading, these insights help you zero in on the highest quality opportunities with clarity. Try it all free for 5 days. Cancel at any time.
Now for the downside, it really is 177.26 now, this rising channel bottom. I think that is our sell signal into later week. We can break 179.30, 179.15 on the daily chart, test 177.26 today. And as long as we come back to close, I would like to see us close above 179.15 anyway. And 179.30 would also help. So this will increasingly become a narrowing range. I'm probably over the next couple of days will combine 177.26 with this area as kind of our multi-star downward pivot point into later week, like a weekly support level. So if we do close below 177.26 today, we have an intra-week sell signal down to 172.51. This could be the very next day. This could be a Tuesday test. This could take a couple of days into Wednesday. But 172.51 I've been mentioning as kind of our 2 to 3 week horizontal channel bottom. That is our backstop into September trade. Now, I've made an adjustment, and I mentioned how I will probably do this over time because we're trading sideways right now. There's a lot of hesitation, and I think largely because the Triple Q has yet to sort of sign off on this long-term buy signal because it, once again, has yet to close above the equivalent to 179.30 in the Triple Q. And so I'm combining these two a week from now. I think it's a week actually from Wednesday. They converge entirely. So I'm basically what I'm saying here is if you're kind of if you're a 2 to 3 week swing trader, you're buying 172.51 and you're reversing and going short below 167.22. Now it's difficult to sort of nuance this. I will say, as I've said before, that if we close the week Friday below 179.30, we have a failed long-term buy signal, which has longer-term 2 to 3 month downside implications to 149.41. And that would be an actionable sell signal. At the very least, you should be exiting your long positions, especially if they are longer-term in scope, and consider scaling into a short position based on that fact alone. But in terms of the technicals, in terms of a likely what I would call kind of a 3 to 5 week collapse to 149.41, that becomes clearly in play following a settlement below 167.22. And if we continue trading sideways, let's say, or mostly sideways for the next week or so, this area conveniently converges into a single point, and it becomes our downward pivot point into September. Until then, you can bottom pick this area on a 3 to 5 day to 2 to 3 week swing trade basis. We could come off of 172.51 back into the 179 handle within 3 to 5 days. We could come off of 167.22 back into the 179 handle within 2 to 3 weeks. But it would be a settlement below 167.22 that would clarify 149.41 as a 3 to 5 week target, which I think would be a 2 to 3 week, the 2 to 3 month objective anyway if we were to close below 179.30. This is, the proper nuancing of different time horizons, wherein we can identify a 3 to 5 day and 2 to 3 week swing trade that can exist within the confines of these longer term sweeps. And that is just the proper way to analyze a market because you can have, a short-term bull trend in the midst of a long-term bear trend, right? So there you have it. Hitting an 8.5 minutes. I do want to say one other thing, and that is if you go to wickedstocks.com, you can take advantage of our 5-day free trial, and you can see exactly where the Triple Q might provide its buy signal if it were to settle this week above its respective 179.30 formation. I personally wouldn't trade NVIDIA without having Triple Q numbers at my side, and so you can see it all for 5 days, no cost whatsoever, by going to wickedstocks.com and taking advantage of our 5-day free trial. You'll also get our daily SPY analysis, our weekly Apple stock, 2 stock picks a week, weekly S&P 500 and NASDAQ 100. That is all I've got for Monday's NVIDIA report. I'll be back tomorrow, of course, with Tuesdays. You have a great day.